So, marincess. In the TCU, we still have the frog. So, yeah, that's the thing. Um, yeah, it's kind of a standard list. Um, I've run something similar to this for frickin' ever. I finally have enough Nibiru's and all this stuff that I can actually put them in this deck and keep them and have this deck pretty much ready to go at any time. One of my biggest issues is that I have my dragons. I have my Red Dragon Archfiend. I have Volcanics. This deck. I have so many other decks that need certain cards, and I don't have enough of those cards. Luckily, the Rarity Collection come out recently, and guess what? A lot of the cards that I need were reprinted in there. Infinite Impermanence, Forbidden Droplet, Nibiru, Effect Fair, Ash Blossom. I can actually afford to get all those now because instead of being $20 a piece, they're like 10 cents. So, yeah. I'm probably going to end up ordering a bunch of hand traps and stuff, but that's kind of beside the point. So, marincess, what does it do, and how's it played, and all that stuff? Well, um, it's a tower deck, basically. And what I mean by that is, so, one of the biggest things that you do with this deck is you build a tower. By tower, I mean a monster with a big number, and you swing for game. Build a big ass beat stick, swing for game. That's how this deck works. So, to do that, we have a lot of cards that are basically one card starters. Except for this one. This is pretty much one of the only ones that's not really a one card starter. And this one. Um, so your one card starters are Blue Tang, Spring Girl, Sea Horse, not Angel. Um, this one kind of be a one card starter in a way, but not really. This one sort of is, but also not really. So, starting off with Blue Tang, we have marincess Blue Tang. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can send one marincess card, monster specifically, from your deck to your graveyard except for another copy of Blue Tang, which is fine. You know, why would you want to send it? If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link monster of a or link summon of a water monster, way too many words, you can excavate the top three cards of your deck. And if you do, you can add one excavated marincess card to your hand. Also, shuffle the rest into your deck. Okay, so it's pretty much Pot of Duality when it's sent to the graveyard as link material for a water monster. And considering that this is a water deck and it's a link deck, that's pretty much what you're going to be doing all the time anyway. So you can play three of those. Three Blue Tang and three Spring Girl. You can banish one marincess monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a water link monster, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of marincess monsters you currently control. Then, if a marincess card was sent to the graveyard by this effect, inflict 200 points to your opponent for each marincess card sent. So, if you build a more pure variant with more of the other marincess stuff, um, for example, the other traps and other monsters and stuff that I don't play. This is kind of a trap deck in a way. Yeah, there's way more traps in there. Spell card sense. Yeah. So if you play like multiple traps and stuff, and the other monsters that I don't play in here, um, you're more than likely going to send a marincess card off the top of your deck, so you will get that effect and you will get the burn. However, with this particular variant of the deck, you don't necessarily want to use that effect, mainly because you don't want to, waste your Ash Blossom or your Effect Veiler, Nibiru, or Troll and Lockbird. If you can afford to, like say it's turn 1 or something, then by all means go for it. But I really wouldn't do that. Let's see. Marincess, uh, Mandarin. If you control 2 or more marincess monsters while this card is in the graveyard or your hand, you can target one water link monster you control, special summon this card to a zone that monster points to. So, that's pretty good. But banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, this is not really a great normal summon. Um, but it's not a horrible one. It can get you into, it can at least get you into, Sea Angel. Then we have Pascalis. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one marincess monster from your hand in defense position except for Pascalis. During the main phase, or during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one marincess spell or trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Seahorse. Special summon this card. You can special summon this card from your hand to its own. A marincess link monster points to. And you can only special summon it once per turn this way. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one water monster from your hand to its own, a marincess monster points to. You can only use this effect once per turn. Yeah. Pretty standard here. If Ash Blossom says no to add cards, no to special summon certain things, no to this, that, and the other, it's basically one of the best stand traps in the game. Effect Failure says no to monster effects. Space Rock says, you just summoned 5 times, I'm gonna blow up the field. Growing Lockbird says you're not adding cards to your deck anymore, or from your deck anymore, I should say. Signet Mining. Send one card from your hand to the graveyard and one level 4 or lower Signet Cyber monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Signet Mining per turn. Marincess Dive, one of the new spell cards that came from the legendary things. And it's for some reason a $6 card. Why? I don't know. I believe that is Blue Tang and Sea Angel. Or Seahorse. Yeah. So, anyway. Activate one of the following effects for the rest of this turn. After this effect resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for water monsters. Again, this will actually be able to waterlock you, which is something that you actually want with this deck. Target one non-link marincess monster in your graveyard. Special summon it to the field. If marincess Battle Ocean is on your field, you can special summon one from your deck instead, and you can only activate one marincess dive per turn. Marincess Battle Ocean. All marincess monsters you control gain 200 attack points, which is cool, because they're not very strong by themselves. Also, each one gains 600 attack for each marincess card equipped to it. Monsters you control in the extra monster zone that were link summoned using a marincess crystal heart as material are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So, in other words, Regeki doesn't destroy it. Uh, Lightning Storm doesn't destroy it. Cards that say destroy card, it's a card effect, doesn't destroy it. And I'm assuming that when it says card effects, it just means everything. Just unaffected. When you link summon a marincess monster to the expert monster zone, except during damage step, you can equip up to 3 marincess link monsters with different names from your graveyard to that link monster. Or link summoned monster. Which is kind of cool. It's fairly simple from here. You know, you got Monster Reborn, revive one monster, and this is not a once per turn. But it's it's at 1, unfortunately. Forbidden Droplet, one of the few decks that I actually use this in. Send any number of cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Choose that many monsters your opponent controls. And until the end of this turn, their attack is half, also their effects are negated. In response to this card's activation, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects of cards with the same original type, which is monster, spell, or trap, as the card sent to the graveyard to activate this card's effect. So, if they have 3 monsters on the field, and you have a spell, a trap, and a monster, send all 3 to the graveyard, negate all 3 effects, they can't respond with anything. So, that's good. Infinite Impermanence, yeah, it does what it does best, which is says no. Marincess Wave. If you control a Marincess Link monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effect. This is in archetype Impermanence. So you don't really even need to play regular Infinite Impermanence. If you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn. If you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this card directly from your hand. There is one drawback. You do have to control at least Marble Rock. So, yeah. Getting on to the extra deck. Sea Angel. 1 level 4 or lower Marincess monster. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Marincess spell or trap, spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only link summon Marincess Sea Angel once per turn. Blue Slug. 1 level 4 or lower Marincess monster. If this card is link summoned, you can target 1 Marincess monster in your graveyard, except for Blue Slug, and add it to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon for the monsters for the rest of this turn, except for water monsters. And you can only link summon this card once per turn. One thing to note about this deck is it likes to lock you out of being able to summon anything but water monsters. So, yeah. Coral Amidity. Or, Anomany? I don't know how to really pronounce that. Anyway, 2 water monsters. You can target 1 monster with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard, special summon it to its zone this card points to. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for water monsters. Once again, that's the 3rd thing that locks you into water monsters, or the 4th, I can't remember. Let's see, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Marincess card in your graveyard except for Marincess Coral Anomany. Add it to your hand. I'm butchering that name, and I know that I am. And note that it says card. So if this is sent to the graveyard as link material, for example, you can get back Marincess Die, Marincess Battle Ocean, Wave, any of your monsters. It's actually really cool. Let's see. Marincess Marble Rock. 2 water monsters. You can target one marincess card in your graveyard except for marincess Marble Rock, and again it's this card. Add it to your hand so it recurs Battle Ocean, Dive, Wave, all that stuff. You can only use this effect of marincess Marble Rock, holy crap, once per turn. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send one marincess monster from your hand to the graveyard. For that battle, this monster cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage. It has a save itself effect, which is kind of nice. Marincess Great Bubble Reef. Not too sure how useful this card actually is. I know it's useful, but I'm not sure, just how good it really, truly is. Once per turn, during each standby phase, you can banish one water monster from your graveyard or face up on the field, draw one card. Each time a monster is banished, face up, this card gains 600 attack points for each until the end of this turn. You can send one water monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one banished marincess monster, and you can only use this effect once per turn. It's actually not that bad. Aqua Argonaut. I can't even hardly talk now. When this card is in the extra monster zone, your opponent cannot attack of any monster except this one. You can only use each of the following effects of marincess Aqua Argonaut once per turn. You can target one water monster you control and one card your opponent controls, return them to the hand. During your opponent's turn, when a spell or trap card or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can special summon one marincess monster equipped to this card, and if you do, negate that activation. So, this one, right here, Aqua Argonaut, and Battle Ocean, kind of play into each other. Moving on, we have Crystal Heart, which is just a necklace, I think. I don't know. Or a pendant, something, I don't know. Unaffected by your opponent's monster effects while this card is in the extra monster zone. During damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster is unaffected by card effects except its own. When this card or your marincess link monster points 2 is targeted for an attack, you can send one marincess card from your hand to the graveyard. For that battle, your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage. So, again, it's a get out of damage card, I guess. So, yeah. Now we get to the Sea Dragon that can kind of screw your opponent over. So, you can only control one World Sea Dragon, Zolantis, and that's, fine. You can only use each of the following effects of World Sea Dragon Zolantis once per turn. During your main phase, you can banish all monsters on the field, then special summon as many monsters as possible that were banished by this effect to their owner's fields. Face up or in face down defense position. So, remember the water lock that Dive has? That, this one has? That, this one has? So, the one reason that you play this card in this deck is because it is a water monster. And what happens, and this is really weird, so let's say your opponent has 5 monsters on the field, right? You can somehow stop them from ending you, right? Well, your turn rolls around. You summon out one of your monsters that locks you into water monsters, like Blue Slug or use Dive or anything else. Then you go into this card, and it banishes everything on the field. All monsters. Okay? Now, If your opponent is not playing any water monsters, which not a lot of decks actually have water monsters that they like to play, unless they're more water oriented. Like, for example, Rescue Ace, it's all fire. Volcanics, all fire. Pearly, I think, is light and dark and earth. Dragons, light and dark. You get what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of decks that are water, basically. That's why this lock actually works. So, you banish everything, then you are special summoning everything as many monsters as possible. However, the unique thing is you are the one that's special summoning. So, and this is a janky ass rule. This card right here, for example, says you can add whatever to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for water monsters. So, with Zelantis, or Zelantis, whatever, if you banish your opponent's light and dark monsters, for example, you don't summon them back because you are summoning them. It's a very, very weird ruling on this card. And I've actually had people argue with me that it doesn't work that way, but yes, it does. Unless they change the ruling or something, that's how it was. That's how it's supposed to work. Is if you summon out this card, you banish everything on the field, then you are the one that's summoning stuff back, not your opponent. So if you are locked into water monsters, you can't summon back the fire hydrant that they have. Or the big furball that they have, the pearly furball, you know. That's just like that's you know, yeah, that's how this works. This can end games for you in a good way. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much how that works. Now moving on to the three uh non-link monsters. Let's see, Abyss Dweller. 2 level 4 monsters. It's kind of weird to play this in a link deck, but whatever. While this card has material attached to it that was originally water, all water monsters you control gain 500 attack. I wonder if it includes itself. Uh, Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card. Your opponent cannot activate card effects in their graveyard. So this is a massive FU to tier elements. Two level 4 water monsters. Bahamut Shark. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Special summon 1 rank 3 or lower water monster. Water Exceeds monster from your extra deck. This card cannot attack for the rest of this turn. So, you mainly use that to summon out this. Once per turn during the standby phase, you can detach 1 material from this card. Special summon 1 frog monster from your deck. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster card effect. Quick effect, you can send 1 aqua monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard and negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Then you can set it to the field. Set it to your field. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had a brain fart there. You can target 1 water monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, yeah, that's kind of neat. I have this in here because I did look up a build that is very similar to this, and it has 2 Signet Mining and 2 dives, and in their place, it ran 2 Forbidden Chalice. There was a couple other differences, but that's really about it. Um, and yeah, that deck actually was like supposed to be one of the better decks. So this is kind of based off of that deck at this point. But this is honestly kind of a standard list at this point as well. So keep that in mind. This is what I would consider to be kind of standard. Um, there are a few things that you can do differently. I've seen builds that play Sleepy Maiden. I don't anymore because really and truly, this card is not that good. Um, it's not that bad, but it's not that good. It's a brick. So if anything, I would put it in the side deck. But that's just me. Anyway, that's the profile. So hope you enjoyed. Um, if you made it to this point in the video, do me a favor and hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Tell me what you think. And yeah, if you would be so kind as to subscribe and help me try and get to 100 subscribers. The goal is to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and that is coming very quickly. So, need some more support there. Anyway, um, let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell icon so you actually get notified when I upload videos. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. What other cards could I run in here besides the dozen hand traps? And yeah, I'll get you next one. Bye for now.